You know, Gordon, I've been hearing all the talk that's been going around Atlanta here in different parts of the country about Bruiser Brody, big man, but it don't seem like they ever find anybody who's got any equal ability to get in the ring with him, you know? Well, I think the people here in Atlanta and all over the United States, the ones that have been following wrestling for years, the ones that have been looking at Bruiser Brody kicking people for the last 10 years, they know that Abdullah the Butcher's every bit of the man that Bruiser Brody comes out here and tells you he is every week. And I don't doubt that he's that tough a man. But I don't want the people here in Atlanta to think that they're going to get cheated. You remember 2 years ago when the Butcher came up that aisle in the Omni? And I jumped him before I ever got close to that ring. And I beat him from one end of that building to the next. And I know there was a lot of people who liked me a whole lot felt they got cheated. Well, I want the people in Atlanta to know one thing. When I get in that ring tomorrow night in the Omni, I'm bringing a little present for the Butcher and for everybody else who continually thinks that they got cheated. I'm going to bring me a big roll, and I mean a big roll of barbed wire. You see all these old nasty cuts on my head, all these old big scars on my head? Well, I'm going to take that roll of barbed wire to the ring. And I'm going to make sure when the Butcher comes down that aisle, I'm going to grab him by the seat of them great big size 60 pants he is, and I'm going to pitch his big carcass in that ring, and I'm going to make sure that the referee strings that barbed wire around so there's no escape for either me or the Butcher. And when we're inside that barbed wire, that means there's only going to be one man that's going to walk out of that ring. And you're looking at him. You're looking at the man.
Thank you so very much, Bruiser Brody. And I'll tell you one thing. He is all man. There's no question about that. We're going to see him in action in the ring right now.
Let me clarify this with you then, King Kong Brody. You're saying that
I work for the Sheik and I do what he says.
In other words, everything that has taken place, you acted under direct orders of the Sheik?
I work for the Sheik. That's all I got to say to you or anybody else. I work for the Sheik, and he is a friend of mine.
King Kong Brody, be that as it may, reflecting back to a number of weeks ago, the brutal sneak attack of Jumping Jim Brunzell. One half of the High Flyers is now on the road to recovery and has demanded of promoters that he wants a match with you anytime, anywhere, whatever rules.
You know, I want to tell the people out here who are looking at me right now, I want to tell you something. If King Kong Brody ever has any demands, I'm going to come right out here, look you right in the eye, and make them. And I think any man would do the same thing. I don't think Jim Brunzell's got as much guts as you're trying to tell everybody he has. Let me tell you something about Jim Brunzell. He got hurt, and he got hurt very, very bad. And if he was real smart, he'd put that in his file cabinet and remember it. But if he's got half as much guts as you're trying to make out he has, and I hope he does have, I hope he's got a lot of guts. Because I'm going to get him in the ring this time, and there ain't going to be no doubt in your mind, oh, King Kong Brody, he jumped in on Jim Brunzell's match and hurt him. I'm not going to jump in on his match. I'm going to be the match. And when the final bell rings, the results are going to be the same. But this time, Jim Brunzell, he won't get well so fast. Jim Brunzell, he won't get his guts together so fast. Because he's going to get hurt. And he's going to end up like that little skinny partner of his, you know, that Gagne kid. He's going to end up real serious hurt. Real serious hurt. I promise you. I promise you.
Fans, you heard the words of one King Kong Brody. Stay with us. We'll be right back.